This Wednesday, our podcast with David R. Hardberger releases. Dave has an amazing career, working as a practical effects cameraman, a director of photography, and, most recently, a director. You might ask, what makes an amazing career? His filmography includes Close Encounters of the Third Kind, Star Trek: The Wrath of Khan, Blade Runner, Star Wars: Return of the Jedi, Willow. I could go on, because there is lots more, like all three Lord of the Rings.
A wizard is never late, Frodo Baggins.
There are so many hidden gem films that are worth talking about, but then there are pure classics like Blade Runner. Released in 1982, directed by Ridley Scott and starring Harrison Ford, the film is loosely based on the novel Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep by legendary sci-fi author Philip K. Dick. Because Mr. Dick is known for his science fiction, often with dystopian and drug-related themes. A lot of his works were adapted into films, and I bet you know a few of them. Starting as short series, this all got adapted into film. Second Variety became Screamers and got a sequel, Screamers: The Hunting. Paycheck and Imposter both got films of the same name. The Adjustment Team was adapted into The Adjustment Bureau, starring Matt Damon and Emily Blunt. The Golden Man became Next with Nicolas Cage.
What do you say we cut the chit-chat? A-hole!
The Crystal Crypt kept its title and was made into a short film. Steven Spielberg made The Minority Report, which was also a television show. We Can Remember It For You wholesale got made into Total Recall, and then made into Total Recall. Then the novel Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep became Blade Runner, and its sequel Blade Runner 2049, and last, Scanner Darkly, was made into a rotoscope animated film with the same title.
It's amazing what you can get for $50. I'll give you $60 right now, no questions asked.
You know, this bike looks a lot like the bike that this girl lives across the street from me had that got ripped off about a month ago. This bike could be hot.
There you go. If you like science fiction, you should read the work of Philip K. Dick. However, Ridley Scott never read the book.
Got the wrong guy, pal.
In the novel Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, the artificial life forms hunted by Deckard are simply called androids. But because of how Star Wars made droids such a recognizable term that instantly makes you think of C-3PO and R2-D2, androids became replicants. In fact, the word droid has been a registered trademark of Lucasfilm Ltd. Since 1977. Director Ridley Scott really wanted Dustin Hoffman to play the lead role.
Mrs. Robinson, you're trying to seduce me.
But after a meeting, Hoffman passed on the project and the role went to Harrison Ford. However, the lead replicant Roy Batty role was filled with Rutger Hauer without even an audition. Scott was positive that Hauer was the right man for the job. Actor Edward James Olmos plays the small but significant role of Gaff, a Los Angeles cop who speaks mostly in a dialect referred to as city speak. And it was devised entirely by Olmos. The title of the film had a few different options. To start, Mechanismo and Dangerous Days were both used for a bit before Scott finally settled on Blade Runner. How did they land on that title? Scott and screenwriter Hampton Fancher found a film treatment entitled Blade Runner by William S. Burroughs. The treatment was also an adaptation, but not of Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep. It was actually an adaptation of a novel by Alan E. Nourse entitled The Blade Runner. So they purchased the rights to the story, never used any of the script, only making use of the title. Ridley Scott was not liked by the crew on set. Scott had said in a printed interview that he liked American crews, and when he asked to do something, they would reply, "Yes, Governor." When the Blade Runner crew saw this, they started wearing t-shirts that said, "Yes, Governor, my ass." In response, Scott and the other Brits on set, believing the American crew had a particular problem with Scott being English, started wearing t-shirts that said, "Xenophobia sucks."
You're reading a magazine, you come across a full-page nude photo of a girl.
Is this testing whether I'm a replicant or a lesbian, Mr. Deckard?
Just answer the questions, please.
Do we have more to say about Blade Runner? We do. With a budget around $30 million, Blade Runner was an expensive film for early 80s Hollywood. The production quickly fell behind schedule, which meant the film also started going way over budget. This ended in the dismissal of both Scott and producer Michael Dealey when principal photography finished. Scott was rehired to oversee post-production, but Scott was not given approval of the film's final cut, which really led to the film getting recut through the years. The best-known versions are the work print, the US theatrical cut, the international cut, the director's cut, and the final cut. Which is the best? It really depends on who you ask. Revenge of the Jedi. Academy Award winner for visual effects, the third released Star Wars film was renamed Return of the Jedi.
Well, don't look at me, pal. I just said you were a fair pilot. I didn't know they were looking for somebody to lead this crazy attack.
George Lucas wanted his buddy Steven Spielberg to direct Return of the Jedi, but that didn't happen. For Empire Strikes Back, Lucas put the credits for director Irvin Kershner at the end of the movie, just as he did for himself with A New Hope. However, the Directors Guild of America mandated director's credits at the beginning of the picture, so they fined him $250,000 and tried to get the film removed from theaters. So, George quit the guild and had to use a non-union director, Richard Marquand. Both David Lynch and David Cronenberg declined the job. Lucky for the selected, Richard Marquand was non-union and went on to direct the film. Jabba the Hutt was a giant 1-ton puppet. One of the largest and most expensive of its kind, incorporating animatronics and operated by 3 puppeteers from the inside. It took coordination. One puppeteer, Mike Edmonds, controlled the tail. Dave Barclay controlled the right arm, jaw, and lip syncing. And Toby Philpott controlled the left arm and tongue. Star Wars is a globally renowned and beloved cultural phenomenon that has spanned multiple generations and captivated audiences of all ages since its debut in the 1970s. Whether it's the classic episodes of the original trilogy, the prequel or sequel trilogies, or even the newest addition to the saga, the characters of Star Wars have become a part of everyday life for many people around the world. The original film changed the face of filmmaking.
Everything's under control, situation normal.
But where did the idea come from? Director George Lucas drew inspiration from a variety of sources, including the epic stories of Flash Gordon.
Forget it, Ming. Dale's with me.
And the 1930s space opera Buck Rogers.
What was that? I don't know.
As well as mythology, the hero's journey, and various world religions, classic westerns, Japanese samurai films.
I don't think it's nice you laughing.
George Lucas was considering retirement and planned to sell the company and the Star Wars and Indiana Jones franchises.
Like Indiana.
We named the dog Indiana.
On October 30th, 2012, Disney announced a deal to acquire Lucasfilm for $4.05 billion, with approximately half in shares of Disney stock.
These are Imperial credits.
They still spend.
So I was thinking, what is it about this globally beloved franchise, Star Wars, that has allowed it to maintain its popularity over several decades? To begin with, it stands out from other movies and pop culture creations of its time because it offers a window into a far-off world where good and evil are clearly delineated. This morality is incredibly appealing, particularly to a younger audience, as it allows young people to immerse themselves in a world of heroic deeds and thrilling adventures. Star Wars also touches on aspects of life that are easily relatable. It explores themes such as loyalty and friendship, the power of identity, the value of courage, and standing up for what's right. Values which are universally understandable and have long-lasting appeal. The characters of Star Wars have always captivated audiences and brought an immediacy to the story. Over time, these characters have become iconic, allowing them to transcend generations. Whether one is watching the original trilogy or any of its successors, these characters connect viewers to the larger story and stand for something larger than themselves. Star Wars does an excellent job of using engaging stories, characters, and artwork to transport audiences across the universe. With visual effects and its vivid use of color, the franchise has created a cinematic world unlike any other. It is these reasons, along with its iconic music, brilliant dialogue, and universal themes, that have allowed Star Wars to achieve its generational success. By captivating audiences with its stories and characters, along with its use of visuals and music, the franchise has created a loyal fan base that will stand the test of time.
There are a lot of explosions for 2 people blending in.
Freeze! Right there!
Flight of the Navigator. In 1978, a boy travels 8 years into the future and has an adventure with an intelligent, wisecracking alien ship.
Wow! How did you do that?
That was a third-class maneuver, Navigator.
Produced by Walt Disney Pictures, the film was directed by Randall Kleiser, who also directed Grease, The Blue Lagoon, and Big Top Pee-wee. It was the feature film debut of actress Sarah Jessica Parker.
You know something? You're a weird kid.
The entirely electronic music film score was composed using a synclavier, an early digital synthesizer and polyphonic sampling system. And the voice of the intelligent, wisecracking alien ship was the one and only Paul Rubens, aka Pee Wee Herman.
I know you are, but what am I?
Let's talk about Dante's Peak. A volcanologist arrives at a countryside town recently named second most desirable place to live in America and discovers that the long dormant volcano, Dante's Peak, may wake up at any moment. Starring Pierce Brosnan, Linda Hamilton, and Jamie Renee Smith, Linda won a Blockbuster Entertainment Award for Best Actress for her role in the film. Do you remember those?
The year's biggest stars come together for one unforgettable night of entertainment. Which of your favorites in music and movies will win? Yeah! The Blockbuster Entertainment Awards.
The Blockbuster Entertainment Awards was a film awards ceremony founded by Blockbuster Entertainment, the place your parents used to rent DVD from before Netflix. Those awards ran from 1995 to 2001. Sometimes two studios get the same idea. Dante's Peak found itself in a distribution race with the movie Volcano. Due to a sped-up production schedule, this movie reached theaters 3 months before Volcano and had better box office success.
We don't want to start a panic.
Did anybody feel that?
My good popcorn flick, The Core is a great choice.
It was a secret government program known as Project Destiny.
We're building a weapon that could generate targeted seismic events.
Designed to use earthquakes to attack our enemies.
I'm getting a seismic reading.
It was a perfect, untraceable weapon.
Destiny is a go.
Until something went wrong.
This film frequently makes top 10 lists of most scientifically unrealistic movies ever, and has even led to scientific publications deriding its inaccurate portrayal of physics. Multiple scientists have taken issue with a number of plot elements, but we all love a disaster movie, and even though the science might not be realistic, you can't deny it's a fun watch. Directed by John Amiel, who went on to direct a ton of television shows, the film stars Aaron Eckhart, Academy Award winner Hilary Swank, Delroy Lindo, and Bruce Greenwood. Make sure to check out David Hardberger's Below the Line episode this Wednesday, and you know what to do.